Hey folks, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review, and this time it's of a Blu-ray that I bought myself of John Carpenter's The Thing from Scream Factory. Some people may ask, why don't you review this for the Halloween season? I want to wait until one day if I ever do a John Carpenter marathon, I'll do it then. So I want to wait for that. But for now, I can review the Blu-ray, and I'll say the Blu-ray is great. Great job by Scream Factory, I'll say that. Very nice looking cover. Do a look at the back there. Definitely agree with this quote. Horror movies don't get much better than this. And if you flip it over, you get, of course, the great poster for the film. And very nice presentation. It's a 2-disc set. Artwork from 2 of the other versions of the posters. Right there and right there. I see artwork on the CDs. Should say the Blu-rays. Disc 1, you have the film itself, new 2K scan from the Interpositive, supervised by Dean Cundy himself, who was the cinematographer on this. Looks beautiful. It's the most beautiful I've seen the movie look. I thought they did a great job with the Blu-ray from Universal way back, but this is even better. It looks even more crisper, especially the special effects. Look even more detailed. And some nice touches with the lighting. For example, when they go and see the ship that Wilford Brimley's character has been building, I didn't know it's like the flares have a little purple light to them. It's red, but it has a little bit of purple, which has that always been like that? But it looked cool. So I thought the film looked great, and you have a shitload of features. On disc 1, you have the teaser, the trailers, the TV spots, the radio spots, still gallery. You have the old commentary by John Carpenter and Kurt Russell. Very fun commentary. Always fun to see those two guys. That was way back in the day when they did that. Great to see that still on here. I love the one they did from Steve from New York, Betrayal of Little China, this one. I actually wish they did one for Steve from LA. Granted, that's a movie that's not popular, but honestly, it'd be the last time those two guys were together, so I'd love for them to sit down and talk about Steve from LA, but yeah, that's not happening anytime soon. I can guarantee that'll never happen. But the comedy with John Carcarosa is always fun, so again, nice to see that still on here, that they carried that over. You have 2 other commentaries. You have one with Dean Cundy, which I'm sorry, it was insanely boring. Dean Cundy is a beautiful cinematographer, aka director of photography, but he's insanely boring to listen to. He's very dry, and it's a snore fest. Unfortunately, it's a complete and utter snore fest. But the other commentary with the co-producer Stuart Cohen, which I don't know if you can see that, but his name's right there, Stuart Cohen, right above my finger. That commentary is really good. Moderated by a guy named Michael Felsher, who's done a lot of other stuff, asking the co-producer a lot of good questions. And Stuart Cohen goes into a lot of things, how the project came about, how one of the people they saw for McCready was Kevin Kline, how at one point Carpenter just wanted to use all of his old guys, like Isaac Hayes for the Keith David role, Donald Pleasance for the Wilford Brimley role, Tom Atkins for the McCready role. And Stuart Cohen was like, hey, see some other folks as well. I think like Lee Van Cleef for the Gary role by Donald Moffat. They talk. He talks about how the film was worked on the sets, and going over the British Columbia. He talked about the some arguments with the studio, especially over the ending of the film. One funny story about a trip him and John Carpenter had where they almost crashed. The plane almost crashed, or could have crashed. Michael Felcher even is asking the co-producer about the TV version, which is a very weird, which is actually on the second disc, which I'll get to. And there's like crappy narration put on the TV version, all this other stuff about the release of the film. Yeah, just a lot of good stuff talked about. So I definitely recommend the commentary with the co-producer Stuart Cohen. A lot of good nuggets of information, and it's not boring at all. No dead spots, dead air. And like I said, trailer, teasers, TV spots, radio spots, still gallery. And on disc 2, thankfully they carried over the hour and 20-minute documentary from the old DVD, which is Terror Takes Shape. Really glad. I always enjoyed that. I never understood why it was not on the Universal Blu-ray. And that goes to show you, there's no fucking reason why Universal could not do that, because Scream Factory was able to do it for this. If Scream Factory was able to get that hour and 20-minute documentary and put it on here, why the fuck didn't Universal, and I actually have that Blu-ray here, why didn't Universal do it with this one? Instead of the stupid picture-in-picture bullshit. That people's, you can't use the excuse, oh, they didn't have the rights to it, because they put it within the movie and they just show pieces of it, so the whole thing wasn't shown. And then Scream Factory was able to get it for this. So Universal are fucking morons. And I don't know what I'll do with this Blu-ray, but I don't know. I'll probably just keep it in case anything ever happens to this. I have a backup. No point in selling it. I would get like $2 for it, and going to the post office takes like 30 minutes. It wouldn't even be worth it, so I'll just keep it. But this is definitely the better release. So anyway, I'm glad they have the hour and 20-minute documentary from back in the day. That was a documentary that had Kurt Russell, John Carpenter, Rob Bottin, Charlie Hallahan before he passed away, among others. But you also get some new stuff. You get a 50-minute featurette called The Men of Outpost 31, which have interviews with a lot of the cast. Let's see. You don't have Kurt Russell, unfortunately. I'm guessing he was busy with Guardians of the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, maybe, or the Fast and Furious movie that's coming out. I don't know. Maybe both. I don't know when this came out. Maybe he was doing the Hateful Eight. Maybe he was doing that other Bone Tomahawk movie. He's probably doing one of those, so that's probably why he's not on this. T.K. Carter as Knowles. I have no idea why he's not on here. There are Q&As on YouTube in which he's on the Q&A. So I'm like, TK, you're willing to do a Q&A, but you're not willing to sit down for an interview? I don't understand that. Charlie Hallahan, unfortunately, has passed away. Richard Dysart, unfortunately, has passed away. Donald Moffat, I'm not sure if he's still with us. But they get a lot of people. They get David Clennon, who played Palmer. They get, I forget the guy's name, Joel Pullis. The guy who played Fuchs with the glasses. You get Tom Waits, I believe that's his name, who played the Windows. You get the guy who played Windows. I think it's Thomas Waits. You get Keith David. You get even some spots with Wilford Brimley, which surprised me. You get the guy who played Bennings, Peter Mahoney. If I get the actors' names wrong, I apologize. I remember the characters' names. The guy who played Bennings, Keith David was Childs. Wilford Brimley. They get David Clinton. They get Richard Masur, who was the guy with the dog. They did quite a few people, and it's a really, really good feature. And I'm not going to tell any specifics about these because that way, otherwise, I'll spoil it. So if someone buys it, then they're spoiled by the features. Oh, I already heard that because Matt said it. I gave little bits of the commentary by Stuart Coleman, the other stuff people will not be spoiled by. But it's a good 50-minute featurette. You get a new 30-minute sit down with John Carpenter, and Mick Garris interviews him, is asking him new questions about the thing. So that was cool to hear some new stuff from John Carpenter about the thing. It was about 25-30 minutes. You get about a 10-minute new featurette with Todd Ramsey, who's the editor. You get a little bit, 20-25 minutes of interviews with some of the guys who worked on some of the effects, whether it be like the opening spaceship that comes in at the beginning of the film, or some of the guys who had worked with Rob Bottin, or some of the guys who worked on the stop motion animation that a lot of it got cut out. Don't know why Rob Bottin, where he's at, because unfortunately he's not on here. And I will say that is it sucks that, TK Carter, again, he's on Q&As that you can find on YouTube for the thing. So why did he not? I'm sure they went for it, but I don't know. Was he busy? Is he in trouble that I don't know about? Or he just said no for some reason? They couldn't reach him? I don't know. So, Rob Bottin, I don't know what the hell. Where is Rob Bottin? That guy disappeared into thin air. Which is probably, they probably couldn't find him either. He disappeared into the Bermuda Triangle, I guess. I mean, at least you do have Rob Bottin on the old documentary, the Terror Takes Shape, same with Kurt Russell, and then Kurt Russell did of course, the commentary with John Carver. So at least there's that, at least. So, let's see, what else were, so effects work. God, there's another one. They interview even the guy, Alan Dean Foster, who wrote the novelization for this. It's like about 15-minute interview, which is different because I'm like, oh, I've seen that guy's books, his novelizations, but holy shit, he actually gets to speak. So that was interesting. Oh, and then they do a little uh, new featurette on the music. They talk with Alan Howarth, who's worked with John Carpenter before, and he tells stories about Carpenter worked with Ennio Morricone, and there's also a guy who did some sound work, and he tells about how he came up with some of the sounds for the movie. They pretty much bring all the stuff from the older DVDs, like the outtakes, which are not really outtakes, because outtakes is like you screwed up and like at the end of a Jackie Chan movie or something. This is more like little kind of deleted stuff that I think they put in the TV version. And speaking of which, you do get the TV version on disc too, so you see that really shitty version. I just got done watching it. It's so bad because they put in this bad. John Carpenter didn't have any involvement with the TV version and all this. It was like the studio behind it. It's like, let's force this narration where the guy explains every character. Here's McCready. He was a helicopter pilot and he was da 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 da. And they took what was cut out at the beginning of the film with the dog running from the Norwegian camp, and they stuck it at the end and used it as an ending. And like the guy's trying to do the narration, be careful out there. Keep watching the skies or whatever. Who knows what tonight or tomorrow will bring. You'll bring me puking on your face for that bullshit. And a lot of the fucking violence cut out and language. Like when Windows says "fuck you, Palmer," and in the TV version, "fry you, Palmer, fry you, fry you." Fry my balls on a platter and eat them with spaghetti. Fucking stupid studio unifuckle. But I will admit it was kind of it was funny, but it's just wow. This is such. I never knew you could make a bad Well, I do know the Thing prequel, pre-com, pre-make. But I mean, like, you take this movie, how do you make it bad? The TV version is how you make it bad. So, but it's funny they put that on the Blu-ray. Made it interesting to watch. Three featurettes from back in the day. A vintage product reel containing a condensed version of the film with some alternate footage, which I guess is a reel they showed to some people to say, hey, this is what the movie's going to be. And yeah, there's some teeny bits of alternate stuff that, oh, okay, that wasn't in the movie. Not like big things. It's not like you're never going to find the actual deleted scenes like the ending where Kurt Russell is safe and he gets a blood test, everything's okay. You're never going to see that. You're never going to see the actual deleted scene of the Fuchs character. He's been impaled with a shovel. Or the alternate death scene of Bennings where he gets stabbed in the back, like with like a, I don't know what the hell it was, like gets stabbed in the back or in the neck with something. And or when Palmer and Childs see all those plants or weed or whatever and they're burning everything up. You never want to see that. You don't see the pictures, still pictures, but you never want to see that deleted footage. But yeah, featurettes from back in the day, 1982. Production art, storyboards, location scoutings. You did a lot of stuff on this, man. You did a lot. I mean, this is extremely packed Blu-ray, and it's pretty damn. It's definitely one of Scream Factory's best releases. I'll say that. And oh yeah, there's another one. I was stalling because there's also like a guy who I guess years ago had gone to British Columbia to see the locations, and so he does narration while we see pictures of his trip there. So no Sean Clark or anything, which is too bad. I mean, it would have been nice to see Sean Clark try to go back and see if he could find some stuff. And yeah, it would have been nice to see a news interview with Kurt Russell, Rob Bottin, if he could be found anywhere. Again, maybe he's in the Bermuda Triangle. Or like, if T.T. Carter would say yes and get interviewed or something like that. But, I'm not really mad at all. And you know me, I would say if I was. This is pretty damn good. And I can't really fault much of anything for it. It's top notch. I can say that. So, if you're at all a fan of the movie, get this Blu-ray. It's well worth it. It's definitely well worth it. So, and it is my favorite horror film of all time. Once again, I will review it again one day whenever I do a John Carpenter marathon. I don't know when that'll be, but one day. Either way, thanks for watching. Take care and stay tuned for more videos. Later.